So how many alpha titans are actually out there in the Monsterverse? And more importantly, who's the true alpha of the alphas? Because when you really look at it, the Monsterverse is packed with titans, all different sizes, abilities, evolutionary traits, and pretty much any one of them showing up is bad news for humanity. But there's a clear hierarchy here. At the very top are the alphas. These are the titans that don't just survive, they rule. The ones capable of dominating other titans, commanding them, or straight up taking the crown as king of the monsters. So for this breakdown, we're talking about titans that either held that crown, challenged for it, or realistically could have taken it under the right conditions. Basically, if you can sit on the throne, you're in this conversation. And yeah, we gotta start with the obvious one, Godzilla. Godzilla is basically the benchmark for everything here. The standard, the guy everyone else is compared to. He's been holding that alpha title longer than anyone we know, going all the way back to when his species was still around. Even back then, he was seen as a king among his own kind. And now, he's the last one standing, constantly reclaiming that crown anytime someone tries to take it from him. But here's the important thing. Godzilla isn't unbeatable. He's been pushed before, even lost that crown for a time. Like early on, he ran into the Mutos. And yeah, that was a problem, because those weren't even the strongest version of their species. That title belongs to Muto Prime. Muto Prime shows up in Godzilla Aftershock. This thing is a nightmare, not because it can overpower Godzilla head on, but because it doesn't need to. It fights smart, hit and run, constant ambushes, wearing Godzilla down over time instead of taking a straight fight. And it almost worked. Because Muto Prime doesn't just want to kill a Godzilla, it wants to use it, weaken it enough, implant its offspring, and let them literally tear the host apart from the inside. Yeah, Godzilla barely avoided that. Like, barely. So Muto Prime absolutely qualifies as an alpha level threat, even if it never officially held the crown. But the biggest loss Godzilla ever took? That goes to King Ghidorah. Back in 2019, Ghidorah actually dethroned him, with some human interference helping things along, and he took over as the Alpha Titan. And King Ghidorah is different. He's not even from Earth. He's basically an invasive species that showed up, decided, yeah, I run this now, and almost got away with it. Once he had the crown, he did what alphas do, sent out the call, commanded other titans, and triggered global chaos. For a short time, he was the guy, until Godzilla took the crown back. Now, at the same time as all this is happening, there's another major player, Kong. And Kong is interesting because he doesn't really operate under Godzilla. He exists outside of that system. When the alpha call went out, Kong heard it and ignored it, which is kind of insane when you think about it. That alone tells you he's on that same level. He doesn't see Godzilla as a superior, he sees him as an equal, a rival, not a ruler. And for a while, we thought Kong was the last of his kind, meaning he was automatically the alpha of his species. But now we know that's not true, because there was also the Scar King. This dude isn't just another big ape like Kong, he's straight up a tyrant, a ruler, the kind of titan that doesn't fight for dominance, he just takes it. Scar King has been around for a long time. We're talking ancient Titan war. And at one point, he literally led an entire army of great apes in a war against Godzilla himself. And yeah, that war was so bad it nearly wiped out Godzilla's species. That alone should tell you everything. But what really makes Scar King different isn't just strength, it's how he fights. He's smart, tactical. He uses weapons, he uses strategy. More than anything, he uses other titans. This monkey straight up enslaved Shimo, one of the most powerful titans in existence, and used her like a weapon. And not just for fights either. He forced her to trigger an ice age just to help him take over the surface. That's insane. At the end of the day, Scar King isn't the strongest Titan physically. He's dangerous because he's a ruler, a manipulator, the kind of alpha that builds an army instead of fighting alone. Now, King Kong himself has had to deal with plenty of alpha level threats too, like the Skullcrawler Alpha on Skull Island. Bigger, stronger, way more aggressive than the others. Then there's Camazotz, this massive bat titan that literally launched an invasion on Skull Island. He responded to Ghidorah's alpha call, meaning he recognized Ghidorah as the superior, but he still went after King Kong directly. So whether you consider him a true alpha or just a contender is up for debate, but he's definitely in that conversation. Meanwhile, Godzilla's got his own encounters going on between King Ghidorah and King Kong. In Godzilla Dominion, he runs into Tiamat, this massive sea serpent titan. And at this point, Godzilla is weakened. He's coming off that fight with Ghidorah, and Tiamat almost takes him out, dragging him into the ocean, poisoning him, overpowering him in his own element. She came really close, but in the end, Godzilla pulls through and reasserts himself. So Tiamat, not an alpha officially, but definitely a serious contender. And then we get into something completely different, Mecha Godzilla, the first fully synthetic Titan. And yeah, he counts, because Mecha Godzilla nearly killed Godzilla. The only reason Godzilla survived is because Kong stepped in. And considering Mecha Godzilla is powered by King Ghidorah's consciousness, yeah, there's definitely an argument that this thing qualifies as an alpha level threat too. Then there's Shimo, which honestly might be one of the most important Titans we've ever seen. Shimo isn't just strong, she's ancient, like possibly older than most Titans we know. There's even a real argument that she existed before Godzilla rose to power, which is crazy to think about. And power-wise, yeah, she's different. Shimo has the ability to generate extreme cold. We're talking ice breath so powerful that can literally trigger an ice age. And that's not hypothetical either. She's already done it before. Like, that's global level impact. The wild part is, she wasn't even fighting at full freedom for most of what we saw. She was being controlled, forced to fight. Scar King had her basically on a leash, using this crystal that inflicted pain and made her obey him. So every time she was fighting Godzilla and Kong, that wasn't even her choice. Even then, she was still one of the biggest threats on the field. Godzilla literally had to evolve, power up, just to match her. That alone puts her in that top tier alpha conversation. But once she's free, she's not even really a villain anymore. She's just that powerful force of nature that was being used the wrong way, which honestly makes her even more interesting. Now let's talk about Titan X. And yeah, this thing isn't not just another random Titan swimming around. This is basically a sea god. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. In the Monsterverse, people straight up worship this thing as the great god of the sea. That should really tell you the kind of presence we're talking about here. Titan X is a massive aquatic titan. We're talking this giant chimeric sea serpent with tentacles, claws, bioluminescent spikes, and just way too many ways to ruin your day. But what really makes Titan X interesting isn't just how it looks, it's how it behaves. Unlike most Titans that just wake up and start throwing hands, Titan X is actually protective. It has this connection to these creatures called sea scarabs, and if anything threatens them, immediately locks in and goes on the attack. Like, it will literally change direction mid-rampage just to go protect one of them. So yeah, this thing isn't just some mindless monster. It's aware, it's reactive. It chooses when to fight. And when it does fight, it's a problem. This thing can move both on land and in the water with no issue. But in the ocean, that's its domain. That's where it's at its best. Fast, agile, basically impossible to escape. On top of that, there's also the mythology behind it. Titan X is based on an actual South American legend, a being that could control the ocean itself and raise sea levels to wipe out entire civilizations. So the Monsterverse leans into that even a little bit. You're not just dealing with a Titan anymore. You're dealing with something that can reshape entire coastlines, flood regions, control the battlefield just by existing near water. The craziest part? We haven't even seen everything it can do yet. It's still mostly unexplored, still being studied. Even Monarch has a ton of its information locked down. So right now, Titan X sits in this weird spot where it's clearly powerful, clearly dangerous, but we haven't seen its full ceiling yet, which honestly makes it even scarier. And finally, we can't talk about alphas without mentioning Mothra. Because while Godzilla is the king, Mothra is the queen. They don't rule in the same way, but they're connected, symbiotic, equal in a lot of ways. Godzilla may control most of the territory, but Mothra absolutely stands on that same level of importance and influence. So yeah, those are the Alpha Titans of the Monsterverse as we know them right now. But what do you think? Do we miss anyone? Are there Titans here that don't deserve that Alpha title? Or are there others you think could rise up and take the crown in the future? Let me know, and I'll catch you in the next one.